1 over cosine of x. We should know this. So what is the derivative of 1 over cosine of x? So I can say that derivative of 1 times cosine of x minus cosine of x derivative times 1 divided by cosine of x to the power of 2. So 1 derivative is 0. Cosine of x derivative is negative sine of x times 1 divided by cosine of x squared. So this will be then sine of x over cosine of x squared. Till here, do you have any question? Till here, do you have any question?
No.
So can I say sine of x is equal to cosine of x times cosine of x? Can I say this? Since this is power 2. So this is now sine of x over cosine of x times 1 over cosine of x. And then sine of x over cosine of x means tangent of x. And 1 over cosine of x means secant of x, secant x. So derivative of secant x is equal to secant x times tangent of x. So we have seen by using the quotient rule. So when we go here, secant x derivative is secant of x times tangent of x. What about cosecant x? It's same minus or negative cosecant x times cotangent x. The proof is cosecant means 1 over sine. So what is the derivative of 1 over sine? By using the u prime v minus v prime u divided by v squared, and then expressing the result in terms of cotangent, then we can get this result. So to sum up, what we learned, derivative of sine of x is cosine of x. Derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x. Do not forget this. It's essential. It is the base, very important. Tangent of x derivative of secant squared x, better to memorize, but if you forget, you can get this by yourself, u over v derivative. Cotangent of x derivative is negative cosecant squared x. Okay, let's go now to the other slide, what we will have. The question is this: find the derivative of f of x. Yes, this is the reasonable question. It's simple question. It could be asked everywhere. So the solution is simple. Now, since we have two different functions, x to the power of 5, one function, cosine of x is another function. If I call this first function is function u, and second function is function v, actually, I am being asked that what is the derivative of u times v? This is the question. What is the derivative of u times v? Am I right? This is the question. So what is the derivative of uv? Derivative of uv is u prime times v minus v prime times u. Is this or plus?
Mister, can we take the derivative of each one separated without using product rule?
No, why?
No?
I underlined this fact before. F of x times g of x derivative is not equal to f prime of x times g prime of x. This is wrong. Or f of x over g of x derivative is not equal to f prime of x over g prime of x. This is wrong. But what we have, if you have k times f of x derivative, k is just number, k times f prime of x. Or if you have f of x plus or minus g of x, its derivative is f prime of x plus minus g prime of x. When you have addition or subtraction, that's okay. But if you have multiplication or division, we have to use product rule or quotient rule, which u prime v plus v prime u, or which u prime v minus v prime u divided by v squared. Okay, this is the case. We already, I think, said before. So let me continue then. So I am cleaning this. Let me clean all. What am I going to say then? F, oops, what am I going to say? f prime of x is equal to derivative of the first function times the second function itself plus derivative of the second function times the first function itself. This is the u prime v plus v prime u. Till here, do you have anything to ask me, all of you? Any question?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. Now, Sunny, do you remember how can we find x to 5 derivative? What is the x to 5 derivative, Sunny? By using the power rule, what can we say? It was 5 times x to 5 minus 1. Am I right? So 5x to 4. Am I right? This was the rule?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm writing then.
What,
Question?
sir?
Question do you have?
No, no, no.
Okay,
I thought you
so
didn't hear.
5 times x to 4 cosine of x. Now, Aya, what is the derivative of cosine of x? I just told you memorize this. It is sine of x, but negative. So let us write cosine of x derivative is negative sine of x. Let us memorize this. Okay? And then cosine of x derivative negative sine of x times x to 5. This is okay, it's finished. If you wish, you can factor out x to 4 if you want. No need, but if you wish, you can say, better to say x times sine of x. So 5 times cosine x, x to 4, 5x to 4 cosine of x. It is here, minus, minus. So x to 4 and x to 5 times sine of x times sine of x. This is the answer of the, or final result of the question. Okay, now let's go to other example. It says that cosine x cube, and it says cosine cube x. So let's talk about the difference between them. This is just trigonometry. If we recap, if we remember that cosine x cube means, dear ladies, it means cosine x times x times x. Okay? This is cosine x cube. But when I say this notation, be careful. This is coming from the trigonometry. It's a default. It's not rule, just definition. It is cosine of x to the power of 3, which means cosine of x times cosine of x times cosine of x. Is it clear now? The difference between cosine of x cube, cosine cube x. Is it okay or not? So if I say, for example, sine to the power of 2x, what does it mean? It means that sine of x to the power of 2, it means that sine of x times sine of x. If I say sine of x squared, it means sine of x times x. So you should be aware of this fact since these are important when we take the derivative. So let's start to find the derivatives. How we will find. So I am doing the first one. Derivative of function f of x, cosine x cubed derivative. Now, if we use the chain rule, what was the chain rule? What was the chain rule? If there is power, take the power in front. But for what? For the parentheses. So we don't have the power here, or just the power is here 1. So I will say that 1 times cosine of x cubed to the power of 1 minus 1 times derivative of inside cosine of x cubed derivative, something like that. But better, instead of writing this, better to do to do this one.
Still the power is only for x, so we can't make chain
So
rule.
we can't make this. For that reason, I want to change. I will do this one. So cosine x cubed. So be careful. Cosine x cubed derivative is now, it is x cubed derivative times, tell me, what should I say? Negative sine of x cubed, which is 3x squared and minus here times sine x cubed. Check this one, or let me give you as a general rule. It's better to give you.
Mister, I have a question. If
I
the
will
power
take
is
this
only
question.
for x,
Let me finish. I
why?
will take your question. Cosine of u derivative is negative u prime times sine of u. One more time. Cosine of anything derivative is negative anything derivative times sine of u. It's coming from the chain rule. Yeah, let me take your question now. I am listening if you have question.
Yeah, why we didn't make it cosine 3x squared?
Cosine 3x squared. Now, okay, first of all, cosine, tell me,
3x
squared.
squared.
But you are getting the derivative of only this in this case, but this is a whole thing. I mean, cosine x cubed is a whole thing. We have just one thing.
Because the power is not for all the cosine
It
x.
is,
It's only for x.
cosine x cubed, which here I will say 3 times cosine of x to the power of 2 minus 1 times derivative of inside. I will tell this. So I understand the concern, the part where you have difficulty. To solve this, I am recommending this one. Let us memorize this. Cosine of u derivative is negative u derivative times sine of u. What is u here? U is any function, anything, any function. So in my question, f of x is equal to cosine of x cubed. Is it? This question is same as this one. Is there any difference between them? Cosine of x cubed, for example, cosine of 20 degrees cube, for example, something like that. Okay, x cubed. Now, the rule says when I take the derivative of cosine of anything, rule is negative derivative of that anything, which is x cubed derivative, times sine of u. U is now x cubed, so sine of x cubed. Check it, please. Check the rule and its implementation here. And if something is not clear, tell me. I am waiting. Till here, do you have question or not? Chat screen. Okay. Do we have question or not till here? No question. Okay, now, Aya, what is x cubed derivative? So this is 3 times x to the power of 3 minus 1. And there is minus here, sine of x cubed. So final result, negative 3x squared sine of x cubed. Finished. That's all. We solved this. Is this clear for you or not clear? You can't talk? Tamam. Aya says, okay. Lana and Sally, if there is anything, tell me. If not, I will continue second thing. Now,
Teacher, thank you.
okay. Now the second thing is, B is, be careful now, g of x, which is cosine cube x. But in trigonometry, what does it mean cosine cube x? It means that cosine of x times cosine of x times cosine of x. It means that cosine of x to the power of 3. I mean, this notation and this notation same. These are the same notations, but we in general prefer to write this cosine cube x. But these are meanings are same. Right now, what I have cosine x cubed, which means if I call the u is cosine of x, I have u cubed, where u is cosine of x. So the question is, what is the u cubed derivative? What was the chain rule? Let me remind you. U to the power of n derivative is n times u to the power of n minus 1 times u prime. This is the rule. So I am writing then 3 times u to the power of 3 minus 1 times u prime. Now, 3 is 3. Now, u is, I call the u is cosine of x. So I am writing cosine of x to the power of 2 times u prime. Since u is cosine, and I know that cosine derivative is negative sine of x, so I put here negative sine of x. So what will the final result then? Negative 3 times sine of x times cosine squared x. That's it. Step by step, check it. Step by step. To ask me question. Question? No question? Okay, passing.
No, teacher, thank you.
Now, the last one is the easiest one. Cosine of 3x is h of x. Question is h prime of x. Now, so cosine of, pardon, cosine of u derivative is, one more time, is a formula, negative u prime times sine of u. So if I say u is 3x, so my question is now cosine of u. When u is 3x, my question is now cosine of u. So what is the formula for cosine of u? Negative u prime. So negative u prime times sine of u. So negative 3x derivative is 3 times sine of 3x. Finished. That's the answer of the question. Negative 3 times sine of 3x. No question, I guess. Okay, passing. So these are the solutions in the book. It is given. Now, Very important question. Find equation of the tangent line to y is equal to 3 times tangent x minus 2 cosecant x, where at the point pi over 3. Now remember what was the equation of the tangent line? Equation of tangent line to a function f of x at x equals a or x equals x0, whatever we want, is y minus y at x0 is equal to derivative of y at x0 times x minus x0. Or I think I have given to you this one, y minus f at x0, f prime at x0 times x minus x0. These two things are same. Okay, instead of f, I just said y. Okay, so what I need here, I need derivative of y, 3 tangent of x minus 2 cosecant x. So what will be y prime? So this is 3 times tangent of x derivative minus 2 times cosecant of x derivative. So y prime is equal to 3 times, what is the derivative of tangent x? It was tangent square x. Let us remember, I forget. So let us remember. No, tangent x derivative is secant square x. So let's come back here. This is I am cleaning. So what I do normally when I need in exam, I just prove by myself. Tangent means sine over cosine, and I use the formula and get secant square of x, but better to memorize. Minus 2 times cosecant x. So what is the cosecant x derivative? It was cosine of x times cosecant x. I think let's check. Cosecant x times cotangent of x. So I am writing it is equal to negative cosecant of x times cotangent of x. To be sure, again, I am looking. Yes, cotangent of x, cosecant x, and negative. Now, this is y prime. So how can I find y prime at x0? So y prime at pi over 3. This is equal to 3 times secant squared pi over 3 minus 2 times, or this minus and this minus will be plus. So 2 times cosecant of pi over 3 times cotangent of pi over 3. Now, pi over 3 means 60 degrees. So if you memorize it, you can directly say, or not, you can draw the right triangle. I prefer to use this one, 2, 1, root 3. So this is now 30 degrees. This is 60 degrees, spatial triangle. Cotangent 60 means adjacent to opposite. So it is 1 over root 3. So this will be, this will be 1 over root 3. And cosine 60 is 1 over 2. Why cosine 60 is adjacent over hypotenuse, 1 over 2. And secant means, secant of x means 1 over cosine of x. So 1 over cosine of 60. So cosine of 60 was 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 will be just 2. So this is now 2 to the power of 2. And then that's it. So the answer will be, f prime at pi over 3 will be 3 times 2 squared plus 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 3. And then calculation. Let's see the calculations in our PowerPoint. How is it? So when we put the number, so as I started, final result is 4 over 3. This is the slope. When I have the slope is 4 over 3, when I put it in the function, which is y minus y0 slope times x minus x0. This is being my answer. Okay, so the answer of the question is equation of the tangent line at pi over 3 is equal to 40 over 3 times x minus pi over 3 plus 3 root 3 minus 4 over root 3. So it comes out the calculation what I have